the latest in August, because it was held in August 2021, I think it was. Well, what happened? The statutes, that's what the Constitution is now called, statutes, they were changed, and the clubs agreed to have elections anytime. So the president, if whoever wins on Sunday, if after 3 months, 4 months, they feel like why things ain't going well, or whatever the reason, and they want to have elections, they could call elections in 4 months, 5 months, a year. I cannot see the benefits of that. I cannot see the prudence of that. And it'll be interesting to find out what FIFA thinks about that, because the FIFA models in all countries, the elections are a 4-year term and between a specific people, a specific period. There's a lot of talk going on about why, a lot of speculation it may have been done to catch the opposition with their pants down so the incumbent could return to office unopposed. I don't know. And what I can tell you is that we are having some members of Team Pedro, Team Jeffrey Hazel. They're going to be in studio with us tonight. And we're going to be hearing about them, what they're thinking, what their plans are, why they believe the club should vote for them, why they believe the club shouldn't vote for the incumbent. But they're going to tell us all about that. And, of course, we welcome your calls, 466-0989. We welcome your calls, and the show is all about you. And we have some WhatsApp challenges. I'm going to probably have to give you a different number to connect to the WhatsApp, because my 668-2055 number, my screen went. My screen gone in on me. He went in last month. He was out for a day and a piece, and then he came back live and living color. I said, well, good. And he ran for about a week and a half, and then last week he conquered. I checked out how much a screen. $1,800 for a screen was. I have a Samsung S20 Ultra 5G. It's not one of the top of the line things. I don't know. Samsung is what? S27 right now, and iPhone is i30. I don't know. I'm a Samsung man. iPhone 16. That's where they're at now. And $1,800. When I bought the phone, I think I got it for $300 and something, $200 and something a couple of years ago. $1,800. That's like $600, $700 US, man. And they said they could give me for $16. I went to another store. The store said, well, buy it's $1,400, but we could give it for $1,200. I went online. I'm a little perplexed. I'm seeing some for 40 something, some for 50 something, 60 something, 70, 80. I've seen some for 100 and something, some for 280 something. So I'm not certain where that is. But I ain't going to buy a screen for 200 and nothing US. I might as well buy a phone, a brand new phone. The challenge with that is I'm going to lose all the whatever on it and etc., which very dear to me, very important. So I ordered a screen already. It should get to my mailbox in Miami, I think it is. It was to be Saturday 11th, but whatever happened, they gave me some good news and say it's going to arrive early. It's going to arrive on Thursday. So I'm hoping it arrives on Thursday, but that sounds like he ain't going to come sync it until next week, Tuesday. And a day or two in customs. So it look like I got to do without it, and then jumping out the bus tonight. This digital phone I using, dropping in the water. I hope he survive. But where are we tonight? So we're going to have some members of the Team Pedro. They're going to be with us tonight. And we have football. We have, well, a bit of cricket. More cricket than anything else. Because a lot of cricket happening. A lot of cricket. And just a reminder, you could call in and be a part of the program, 466-0989 at any time. Or you can send a WhatsApp to me, 765-1100. Because of the gymnastics tonight and the technicalities, I wouldn't be able to go live with my number. We probably have to get Tough House and find out if it's okay for him to allow you to call, and he'll link you up with the WhatsApp. But where do we start? Let's start with West Indies under 19 cricket. The ICC Women's under 19 tournament that's happening down in Malaysia. And they are of the young ladies. That is starting on Saturday, January the 18th. So not Saturday coming, the following Saturday. And what we have happening here. Australia will be kicking off versus Scotland. And that is going to be, and it shouldn't be too much worries for Australia. Australia, powerful team. Basically, any wants to talk about cricket. They are always around. And in Group A, we have India, West Indies, Sri Lanka, Malaysia. So India probably would be the favorite to come out along with West Indies. Group B, England, Pakistan, Ireland, USA. I think England and Pakistan may very well be the favorites to come out of that zone. Group C, New Zealand, South Africa, Samoa, and an Africa qualifier. Something isn't right there. That should have been organized by now. And in Group D, Australia, Bangladesh, Asian qualifier, Scotland. So West Indies, their first game is going to be... No, man, what is this I'm looking at? Yeah, I'm looking at the right thing. West Indies in Group A, their first game is going to happen when? Just give me a second here. We have a call? Oh, just checking and to see if we have a call there. That's the ICC Champions Trophy. What I'm seeing here for this, the West Indies, and I know the West Indies team, that would have been announced, and I'm going to mention that in a minute. Well, maybe I should start with that. The West Indies team on December 23rd, the Cricket West Indies announced their 15-woman squad for the trophy, and it was done by Cricket West Indies' Director of Cricket, Miles Bascom, who said, "We are proud to announce," I quote, "we are proud to announce our under-19 women's squad for the ICC World Cup 2025, which represents the future of West Indies cricket. Captain Samara Ramnath and Vice Captain Asabi Kalanda will lead a talented group of young players who have shown tremendous potential throughout our development programs, and we believe this squad exemplifies the emerging strength of women's cricket in the Caribbean." End of quote. We are seeing 16 teams from across the globe, matches various venues in Malaysia, Australia, Bangladesh, England, India, Ireland, New Zealand, Pakistan, South Africa, Sri Lanka, and West Indies qualified through their participation in the 2023 edition. Malaysia earned automatic qualification as host. Another 5 nations, Nepal, Nigeria, Samoa, Scotland, and the United States, earned their spots through the various regional qualification tournaments. It will be the first World Cup appearance across any age group for Samoa, while the tournament will also marks Malaysia's maiden appearance at the Under-19 Women's World Cup. And the West Indies team, they were preparing rigorously, and we're hoping that they are up and ready. The winners of Group A will play the runners-up of Group D. The 2 teams will go on and... Let me back up. Following the group phase of the tournament, which runs from the 19th to the 23rd January, the top 3 teams from each group will advance to the Super 6 phase. First, second, third in Group A, B, C. 2 groups of 6, which will take place from 25th to 29th January. 3 teams from Group A and D will combine to form one Super 6 group, and the top 3 teams from Group B and C will form the other Super 6. Interestingly enough, teams will carry forward their points and net run rates from the initial group phase, which is not something strange. This is something that is happening throughout the various World Cups over the years. So if you had 7 points and whatever net run rate, you're bringing that into. I think it's a case of rewarding the top teams, etc., especially. From the initial group phase, and we'll play the two sides who are not in the original grouping and who finished at a different position. For example, if West Indies finish top of Group A, then they will play the runners-up and second runners-up out of Group D. The top two teams from each Super Group 6 will advance to the semi-finals on the 31st January, with the final to be held on the 2nd February, a 3,000-seat venue. And the team departed for Malaysia on New Year's Day. A pre-tournament camp from the 5th to the 10th, which is actually happening. And they are going to be having 2 warm-up games on the 13th of January against Nepal and the 15th against New Zealand before the opening group stage on the 19th. The squad is Samara Ramnath, captain, Asabi Kalenda. Well, before I got there, I had from reliable sources that during the build-up, Jazara Claxton, our very own Jazara Claxton, was actually one of the captains for the practice matches and that sort of stuff. And somewhere along the line, she fell off the map when it comes to the captaincy. That was given, I think it was her and I think there were 2 other persons actually. So the captain and the vice captain here, they weren't really in things from what I understand. But anyway, the captain, Samara Ramnath, Asabi Kalenda, vice captain, Abigail Bryce, Kanika Caesar, Jazara Claxton, Danelia Chris, Najani Cumberbatch, Erin Dean, Amaya Gilbert, Trisha Haddad, Brianna Haricharan, Amarita Ramtahal, Selena Ross, Kristen Sutherland, and our very own Ayelia Weeks out of St. Paul's. And that's another SP. I mean, it's a photocopy SP, but still SP. So we have Jazara from SP with the best B and Ayelia Weeks from another SP. We say congratulations to these 2 young ladies and we wish them well. I think Jazara, she might have this, if this is not her last year, she has 1 more year at this level, if I'm not mistaken. She's 18 years, so this may very well be her last year. She was born March the 12th, 2006. The tournament, it depends on when the tournament is, because I think they have something that says if your 19th birthday falls at some time, you're still eligible. So Jazara may very well have another year, and who knows? If she does, she may very well go on to captain it next year, God's spare. But we're hoping that she has a good performance this year. And next year, we'll see for that when it comes to that. And the other players, we have reserves, the Korea Collymore, Chrisani Howell, Anisha Miller, Danielle Mans, Laureen Williams. Team management, head coach Robert Samuels, assistant coach Shane Brooks, Tremaine Smart, those assistant coaches, therapist, Ashley Stevens, strength and conditioning coach Yvonne Arthur, team manager Marissa Aguilera. She was the captain of the females team, the wicketkeeper out of Trinidad and Tobago. Team doctor, Dr. Joan Ragunanan. And the group stage match schedule, the 19th for West Indies versus India, which is a tough game to start off with. The 20th, West Indies versus Sri Lanka. The 23rd, West Indies versus Malaysia. And so we say congratulations to the young ladies for making it into that tournament, and we wish them the best, really, especially our very own Jazara and Elia. And I think Elia, she is like, what, 15, I think, a very, very young lady. And both of them would have come through SEMS. So we have to give SEMS the credit. And more so, James Ward out of St. Paul's, he has to be given a lot of credit. Yes, she was born earlier. She was born on the 11th of November at 2008. So that means currently she is 15. She's going to be 16 this year. No, she's 16. She just made 16 in November gone. So she's going to be 17 next year, this year, God's spare. So she have this year and at least another 2 years there. So we're hoping that she does well. And of course, the experience they gain, they'll be able to bring it back to the Leeward Islands, not only the Leeward Islands on the 19 team, but the Leeward Islands team. And, the Leeward Islands female team, for the last 2 years, we've had the Super 50s and the T20s here in 2023 and 2024. We don't know what's going to happen this year again. But let's hope that the West Indies, which the team is in its the female cricket is in an embryonic stage. So we have to wait and see how that works out. That is the female under 19 World Cup. And what is happening here now? On January 3rd, Cricket West Indies announces Bangladesh Women's Tour 2025. So that was just a few years ago, Friday to be exact. Coming out of St. John's, Antigua, Cricket West Indies announced on the 3rd of January the schedule for the Bangladesh Women's team's white ball tour of the West Indies, set to be held in St. Kitts from 19 to 21st January 2025. That's interesting. We're having cricket here. And this is the first time I'm hearing about this, really. I took the time off for Christmas and Carnival and jamming and all kind of things. But I haven't been hearing anything on the radio. So what happened to the Cricket Association? Which is one of the strongest weaknesses in my humble view. Public relations. I don't know what it will take or what it will cost them to advertise cricket here for West Indies in St. Kitts. But they're having matches here from the 19th, which is next week, Sunday, to the 31st, and we ain't here not seeing anything. Well, this year's elections, which were actually constitutionally due last year. So, according to the Constitution of the St. Kitts and Cricket Association, the executive is really unconstitutional, because elections should be held in the even year, 2 years in the even year. So elections should have been last year, 2024. The last time elections were had were 2023. So it's going to be some time, and I hope they actually get that right. But could you imagine no cricket at all was played in St. Kitts, organized by the St. Kitts Cricket Association, a whole year passed, and no local cricket played? Yes, we had a lot of cricket. We had the Regional 4 there and things like that. We had the female competition, but no local cricket for a whole year. That's beyond me. But anyway, the tour will feature, the West Indies, Bangladesh, will feature 3 CG United one-day internationals and 3 T20 internationals, all to be played at Warner Park in Bastia. So we got a lot of cricket going. The Bangladesh team, they're going to be arriving next week, Tuesday on the 14th, ahead of the first one day on the 19th. And the fixtures, we're going to get to that in a bit. Following the one, the series, the team would compete in a T20. And Warner Park has Cable and Wireless's acting chief executive officer, Linford Inverari, expressed his enthusiasm for hosting the matches at Warner Park. I quote, "Warner Park has long been a significant venue for West Indies cricket, and we are pleased to host the Bangladesh women's team for this series. These matches not only provide a platform for high-quality cricket, but also contribute to the development of the sport in St. Kitts and wider Leeward Islands. We encourage the local fans to come out in full support, creating an electrifying atmosphere throughout the series." And it continues, the series against Bangladesh is crucial for us as we continue our campaign in the 2025 ICC 50 over Women's Championship. The ODI series carries significant weight for our World Cup qualification hopes, while the T20 matches will provide valuable preparation as we continue to build depth in our squad. We expect competitive cricket from both teams, and these matches will be vital for assessing our progress and fine-tuning our strategies for the challenges ahead in 2025. And the team, I'll give you that in a moment. But this is actually good stuff. And matches in St. Kitts. And I just can't get over that we haven't heard anything about it. I don't know. It really beats me. I just can't get hold of that. I don't know. Well, I'm looking and I'm not seeing the team that has been announced, unless they haven't announced it as yet. But one thing is certain, if I don't come across it tonight, I'll definitely come across it, have it for next week, Tuesday, God's spare. I'm searching while I'm talking, I'm not. Bangladesh unveiled the squad for the historic tour of the West Indies. And strange thing about it, sometimes we find information on other sites apart from the West Indies site, and I find that extremely strange. I'm looking, I'm checking, I'm not seeing as yet. But anyway, we are going to get back to that. On the site, they announced the program, but they haven't announced the squad, it looks like, as yet. I am not seeing it, but we're going to get to it. We're going to get to that. And I'm seeing something interesting here as well. So Clive perturbed by talk of plan to split into two divisions. Tuesday, 7th January today. I'm very disturbed about this. It must be stopped now, end quote. Legendary former West Indies skipper, cricket captain Clive Lloyd did not mince his words as he responded to a media report of Australia yesterday that talks are planned to split test playing teams into two divisions. That's interesting. A report in Sydney Morning Herald has suggested that Australia, England, India, and the International Cricket Council's new chairman, Jay Shah, are in talks to split test cricket into two divisions so the big three nations can play each other more often in series cricket. That's Australia, England, and India. The report noted that the concept of two tiers in test cricket was previously floated at ICC level in 2016 with a model where 7 nations would compete in the top division and 5 in the second rank. It added that any plan for a move to two division in test cricket would kick in after the end of the current Future Tours program in 2027. However, Lloyd does not see West Indies, currently ranked 8th out of the 12 test teams, recovering if they were confined to a tier 2. We cannot sustain the system with the money that we are acquiring at the moment. So Clive, end quote, so Clive told members of the regional and international media on a Zoom call yesterday. I quote, "We are in a very vulnerable situation, and now you are making us even poorer by what you are doing," end quote. And this was coming out of the Trinidad Express, was it? That's very interesting indeed. And as bad as this is, who it was, somebody is suggesting that the West Indies team be broken up and the countries play individually. Now, when it comes to the Olympics, that will have to happen. I don't know the format. I haven't seen the format for the 2028 Olympics, what the qualification will look like and the zones. But St. Kitts and Nevis, if we are interested in competing in the Olympics, we have to compete as a St. Kitts and Nevis team. Not St. Kitts, not Nevis. The name of the country is St. Kitts and Nevis. So we therefore have to compete as a St. Kitts and Nevis team, similarly to Antigua and Barbuda, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we cannot compete as West Indies. We'll have to compete as our individual countries. But somebody's taking that a step further. They're saying that is how it should be for Test cricket. I am not so certain if the West Indies not so strong right now. I am not seeing, well, perhaps it's possible that Barbados or Trinidad or St. Kitts Nevis could be stronger than the West Indies team. I'm not so sure. And we know Antigua and Barbuda, they were, a few years ago, they were pushing to separate from the West Indies cricket and play on their own. I always hear there is strength in numbers, and united we stand, divided we fall, but I don't know. But this thing from Lloyd and what he's saying and whoever is suggesting that. But going back to the St. Kitts and Nevis team, if that were to happen, well, St. Kitts and Nevis Cricket Association, that's not a member of the Olympic Committee, St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee at the moment. However, they will have to become a member of the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee as a St. Kitts and Nevis team. I am not certain if anything has started as yet, because there's a St. Kitts Cricket Association, there's a Nevis Cricket Association. There isn't anything on the horizon that I am aware of for a St. Kitts and Nevis Cricket Association. I don't know how they're going to do it. If they're going to have all the clubs in St. Kitts, which is probably the way it should be done, all the clubs in St. Kitts and all the clubs in Nevis, they meet at a meeting and they have their nomination process, etc., etc. And I might get a lot of stick for this, But I think if we have to choose today between the president of, assuming that the president of the St. Kitts Cricket Association, the president who is Dennis Phillip, and the president of the Nevis Cricket Association, who is Carlisle Powell, if the two of them were to contend for the elections for president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Cricket Association, I am thinking Carlisle Powell will be the edge for various reasons, starting with the fact that cricket is played, quite a lot of cricket. A few leagues being played in Nevis. They have today cricket, they have 35 overs, T10 and 2020 and all kind of things. While in St. Kitts we haven't had one cricket match. In 2024, in 2023, we had 7 days of cricket. 7 days. We had a T20 tournament with 6 clubs. So everybody played 5 days. And then we had the semi-finals, and the 7th day we had the finals and the WINN FM. That doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, that's what the clubs want. And that's what they'll probably get. So we're going to have to see how that works out. But getting back to this cricket, I'm still searching and I'm not seeing anything for the female team that was announced. But chances are it's going to be led by, it's going to be the same team, the Dattins and coming back from the West Indies, of course, the Haley Matthews and what have you, etc., etc. So it should be a good thing, split in two. I just can't get over that. I just can't get over that. Moti, he's going off to the Pakistan Super League. He's among 22 international players who have registered for the Pakistan Super League season 10 draft set to take place on January 11th in Gwadar, Balochistan. And he was the ICC Player of the Month award in June last year. He's joining elite players, including seasoned New Zealand cricketers Martin Guptill and Tim Southee, who are among the latest to join. And whether we like it or not, the T20 cricket taking over. Dr. Keith Rowley, he's speaking out on New Year's Day, reviving West Indies cricket amid controversy. In a candid and exclusive interview on local radio station I-95.5 FM in Trinidad and Tobago, a sports program with host Andre Errol Baptiste on Sunday, Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, chairman of CARICOM's subcommittee on cricket, laid bare the challenges and ambitions surrounding West Indies cricket as the region gets ready to welcome a new year and possible new challenges facing the region's beloved sport. Dr. Rowley will reveal that CARICOM, in collaboration with Cricket West Indies, has been working assiduously to try and implement a working solution to plans that have been tabled in the past that were designed to revive the glory days of West Indies cricket. He said, I quote, "We want to encourage people in this period of the great risk and possibly good rewards that we get to the table, take the available assistance and work as one body, because nobody is going to respect West Indies cricket because we are fractured at the management level. But if we are one solid body, talking to the ICC and talking to ourselves, then we can do what is required to improve the game." End quote. West Indies cricket, we got to fix it. And as a sportscaster, as a sports journalist, I'm having a serious challenge with the West Indies website. I don't think it's as user-friendly as it could be, as it should be, as it needs to be. It needs to be revamped, in my view. I'm supposed to be able to go to the West Indies website, Cricket West Indies' website, windiescricket.com, and say, okay, I want to look at the 2000, let's be recent, the 2022 or 2023 Regional 4-Day or the 50 over competition, and track performances of individuals or track performances of team, or just get the point stats and what happened in matches. But that has been a challenge, a serious challenge. But I don't know. You're listening to On The Ball here at WINN FM 98.9, and we're expecting we're going to go to a break now. We're expecting some members of Team Jeffrey Hazel who are contesting the SKNFA's elections. We're talking cricket at the moment, but before we slip off, when we come back, we're going to touch some table tennis as well. But let's go to a break. Stick and stay. Don't go away. We will be right back. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? tune into On the Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Soca Zone presents Showcase. Is a brand new show. It's an open mic edition for the artists. You can come and showcase your talent, where you can sing, do what you feel like, freestyle. If you want to be a singer from how long, but don't get the push nor the courage, this is the show for you. Every first Saturday, every month, we're going to be doing a show for the artists them. This is what the open mic edition is all about. The host Taslim, aka DJ Raspy of Tough House Sound, and Scratchy Bama. We don't know. Soca Zone 98.9, WINN FM, Soca Zone Showcase. Every first Saturday, every month, Soca Zone presents Showcase Artist Thing 98.9.
About you, but me love sing is and leave is bad.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM. You found the sound. 98.9 WINN FM. Never sounded like this.
Radio never sounded like this, sounded like this.
98.9 WINN FM.
Welcome back to On the Ball here at 98.9 WINN FM. I am your host, Troy Bif Mills. And we've been talking cricket, and right now it's a lot of cricket because no football happening in St. Kitts and Nevis, save and except the elections. The St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association will be hosting its elections come Sunday, the 12th of January. This is new because the constitution was changed in December 2023, was it? That the executive could call the elections at any time. And it has exercised that privilege, that right. The St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association. It's the first time this has been happening since the new statutes came into being in 2008. Remember when we had this lot of confusion in 2008 where half the clubs were suspended and we had elections and the incumbent won. But an appeal was made to FIFA. They sent down people, changed the statutes, and there were fresh elections in 2009. And that is when the late Anthony Johnson, may his soul rest in peace, he got in as the president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association, he and his team. But what I've noticed over the past the past two presidents. In 2008, clubs were suspended. The incumbent president lost. The president who suspended clubs. In 2021, the incumbent president suspended clubs. The incumbent president lost. And these are facts. I'm not giving you my opinion. Peter Jenkins was the president in 2008. Quite a few clubs were suspended. He won the elections in 2028. But there had to be fresh elections in 2029, and Peter lost. That was when Anthony Johnson got in power. In 2021, Anthony Johnson suspended a few clubs. May his soul rest in peace again. The late Anthony Johnson suspended a few clubs. He lost. Atiba won the elections in 2021. And now in 2025, well, some clubs have been, I got to be careful. I don't know if the word suspended is the right word, but I've heard a telephone conversation where the secretary was telling a member club that they are an affiliate member, they are not a full member, hence they cannot vote on Sunday. There's a discussion whether or not these clubs have been disenfranchised. I don't know, I'm not getting into that right now. And I am hoping that we'll be able to address that because Mr. Jeffrey Hazel, some members of his team are to be with us tonight. I know they're probably planning, strategizing, meeting clubs, whatever. So we're hoping that they'll get to us. They'll get to us tonight. And so if two elections in a row, well, not two necessarily, two elections in a row, two presidents in a row suspended clubs and elections, they lost. And the third president is suspending clubs. I think the experts call it trend and history and many things would suggest that the incumbent will lose. I don't know. Strange things are happening. And what happened for 50 years, 100 years may not necessarily happen this time around. But it's hard to beat history. It's hard. So we're going to have to wait until Sunday to see what is happening. But what I could say in terms of the elections, the candidates are, and there are two slates of candidates. The candidates are the incumbent, and I'll call all the incumbent first. President Atiba Harris. He is being challenged by Mr. Jeffrey Hazel for the presidency. First Vice President Sean White. He is being challenged by former First Vice President Don Grant, who is also a former Second Vice President. He was Second Vice President and then he was elevated to First Vice President. That's Don Grant. Incumbent Second Vice President Cuthbert Keynes. He is being challenged by Aisha Duggins, Miss Aisha Duggins, out of Nevis. So it's the first time, this is history here, ladies and gentlemen, it's the first time a female is going up for one of these top positions, the president or the vice president positions. And again, the SKNFA, they have a president, a first vice president, and a second vice president. So that is history in itself. Will she get through? We'll have to wait until Sunday. The four ordinary members, the incumbent, and I have to mention something. There's a big change with this. The constitution, the statutes were changed sometime back, and I'm trying to get a copy. Let me back up. Let me start a different way. The new statutes being used, the new model, that came into being in 2008. December the 13th in 2008. That was after the suspension and before the fresh elections were called, and the fresh elections were called on the new constitution back then. Elections were held in 2009. It was called on the new statutes that were amended and adopted in December 2008. All the elections up to the last one, there were 10 executive members. The president, 2 vice presidents, and 7 executive members. That has been changed. It's now going to be 7 executive members. First president, first vice president, second vice president, and 4 executive members. I think between 2008 and now, the statutes have been amended 3 or 4 times. I think once on the late President Johnson, may his soul rest in peace, in 2017 or thereabout. I know definitely one in December 2023. I think once or twice before that. And I'm trying to get a copy of these. And so going back to the 4 incumbent ordinary members, Javim Blanchett, Sheila Patricia Claxton, Phil Cooper, and Aline Morris. These are actually 4 incumbent who are there. The 3 persons who are no longer part of that slate, they are Pinney out of Molyneux, Bergen, who's with Security Forces, and Ken from Village. And my understanding is, and I'll have to confirm that, I think it's safe to say, well, I got it from very sound sources, that one member of Atiba's executive has resigned. And I find that very interesting. Elections coming and he resigned this week, last week, I'm not certain. But over the last few weeks, at least one member has resigned. To me, if you ask me, my view, I think that sends a very strong message. What the message is, I'm not too certain. You'll be the judge of that. But for a sitting executive member to resign a few weeks before an election, maybe he spelled it out and realized, well, he's not a part of the slate. So, but I don't know what that means. So the other 4 ordinary members who are going up against the 4 incumbent I just mentioned, they are Troy Spuddy Hendrickson, and he is a former member of the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association and an executive member. Almond Cook, Ronald Williams, was he a member? I think he was a member of the executive sometime in the past, maybe one term. and Juliana Sargent. Now, this again is history because I don't think, from my records and what I'm recollecting, there were ever two females contesting the elections for the SKNFA, whether on the same side or on separate sides. So that's a second piece of history that Team Jeffrey Hazel is bringing about. Aisha Duggins from Nevis, she's going up as the second vice president, and Juliana Sargent of Spurs, she's going up as an executive member. Never before, but we'll have to wait and see how that will work out. Before we get back into some cricket, let's touch a little bit about table tennis. The St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, we are having a table tennis camp on the 18th, Saturday the 18th at Cotton Ground in Nevis. And so we're going to be sending out the link to register just now. It's going to be starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, so you're invited to send your children. Even adults could come because we really want to grow table tennis. And I'm speaking in my capacity as president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association. We want to grow table tennis. It's considered a minor sport, but we are pushing an agenda to have table tennis become one of a household name in sport in the federation in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, be it as it may. Yes, a lot of work was done in the past under the immediate past president, Mr. Kevin. What's his title again? I can't remember, but Kevin was the president before him. No, forgive me. Calvin Lake is the immediate past president. Before him, there was Kevin. Before him, there was the late Miss Laverne Merritt. Before her, there was Sidney Matthew. Sidney Matthew is still around, still playing table tennis, looking good, looking fit. And so we really want, they've been doing a good job over the years. We became members of the ITTF in 2004, I think it was. But I'm certain a lot of you would remember table tennis being played in the old pavilion at Warner Park. We had people like Leroy Green, and I'm not calling in any order. Leroy Green, Denzel Takins, Dr. Mark Hodge. We had the late Ben Francis, the late Rudy Hendrickson. Sidney Matthew would have been playing there. I remember in the 80s going to the park for umpires meeting. They're playing downstairs in the old pavilion. When nobody there thinks like going, and I take a little knock up. And even at the Sandy Point High School, I actually started dabbling with table tennis back at the Sandy Point police station. I used to thief it from home and run down there. Needless to say, when I reach home, I'm going to get a lot of blows from my mother. But it was blows well received, well taken. And I know I'm going to run away again tomorrow and go down there. So I started dabbling with it, and then in Sandy Point High, Thomas Williams, he was then the French and Spanish teacher. His office was basically the library. We had a board in there, and he used to play. And I think it was somebody, I think his Mark Hodge used to serve us with his shoe. And he used to put two people to stand up, one by the center net on the left, one by the center net on the right. And he said, I'm going to put you there because you're going to catch some balls for me. Face the person. I'm going to serve on your face. And when he serves, and I play back, sometimes he go left, according to the serve, to the person standing. And they just stand up, they don't move, they catch it. Sometimes he go right. It depends on the spin he put on. And that was happening with other players. And that's a challenge we have. One, identifying the various spins, types of spins that's coming at us, the services. And two, the playing them back. Because if you don't play them back correctly, if you don't identify them and you don't play them back, you're going to play all the way up there in the roof and things like that. So we're really pushing to have table tennis become a household name. So we're having our first camp in Nevis, Cotton Ground, on Saturday the 18th of December. Forgive me, the 18th of January. We had one on the 8th of December. in St. Paul's and one on the 9th. Friday the 8th in St. Paul's, Saturday night, I think, in Cotton Ground. And we're having one the following weekend in St. Paul's. That's Saturday the 25th. We're having it in St. Paul's. And we're inviting persons. We're inviting persons to come on out. Children, adults even. Come on out, bring your children, learn to play some table tennis. And following that, we're having the Laverne Merit National Table Tennis Championships on Saturday the 15th and the 16th of February. Valentine's Day, Friday the 14th. So immediately after that, Saturday and the Sunday, we're going to have the championship, Laverne Merit. This is the first time. Well, the first time we've had table tennis camps. The St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association has held camps in Nevis. And we had 2 last year. We had one on the 23rd of November, Saturday 23rd, which was the first time ever. And we had one on Saturday the 13th? I can't remember. Of December. So it's the first time we had any camps in Nevis. And we had 2. So it's the first time we also had 2. Saturday the 14th. So we are stepping up. And it's the first time we're naming a competition after a former executive. And the plan is, to have the national championships named after Laverne, the late Laverne Merritt, former president. And she was also a former vice president of the Caribbean Region Table Tennis Association, a federation. To put it in perspective, that is to table tennis as CFU is to football. So we have St. Kitts and Nevis table tennis here, football here. The next, the regional level is Caribbean Region Table Tennis Federation. We have CFU in football. The next region now is the Continental Association. So we have CONCACAF for football, for table tennis. It is ITTF Americas, which is North America, Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. And then above that, we have the international body, FIFA for football, and ITTF for table tennis. So that is the structure, the zoning of the table tennis. And I use the football as an example for who might be more familiar. So the plan is to have different competitions named after different persons. I hope I'm not letting out the cat out of the bag, and I hope my executive ain't going to give me a couple of words. But another competition we're working on several competitions for 2025. Another one we're hoping to name after another former president who's alive and well and still assisting us with some coaching. That's Mr. Sidney Matthew. And also another after former secretary, Rudy Hendrickson, who has passed. And that is what we're doing. And this year we're hoping to have the national championship, which we wanted to have in December. But I think because of Christmas and Carnival, it didn't materialize. And we do apologize for persons for it not coming off. But it's definitely going to be coming off next month, God's Spear. And we are hoping, according to how the year goes, we may be able to have a primary school championship as well as a high school championship. We're thinking about a church championship, maybe a community league, a parish league. We can definitely have a regular league, just like how we have KR playing Newtown in the Premier Division, etc., etc. We have 5 clubs. We have Freeman and Freeman, Mr. Urban Freeman. He's the man in charge of that. We have In the Loop Table Tennis Club. Mr. Calvin Lake, he's in charge of that. We have Challengers Table Tennis Club. Mr. Dennis Bowers, he's responsible for that. We have the Sandy Point Table Tennis Association, Mr. Quinton Morton, he's the president. And we have the Lyamiga Table Tennis Club. Mr. Craig McDowell, he is the man in charge of that. So we are going to be having Freeman and Freeman going to challengers to play challengers in a league, and then Omega table tennis going up St. Peter's or going Sandy Point to play Sandy Point, etc., etc. And you're going to hear more about that because that's going to come later in the year. And of course, we're looking for sponsors for these championships, these tournaments. We're hoping to have a church tournament as well. If we could get it up in table tennis up and running in the churches, we're hoping to have that. We're hoping to get into the prison and try and see if we could actually have the inmates there doing table tennis. So we have to speak with them. The weekend camps, they are geared for the primary schools and the high schools. So we are already in there. We don't have coaches in the sports department like we have football and cricket. We don't have them as yet. Because we have football and cricket and netball and volleyball and tennis, etc. We're hoping to get there one of these days where the Department of Sports actually has table tennis coaches as part of their staff working with the schools. So we have a lot of plans for table tennis to thrust table tennis forward. And Irvin Sweeney, he played table tennis as well. And he was here in December and he wanted to visit us. We had to postpone the championship, but he wanted to come down with us and be a part of it as well. And there was another gentleman, forgive me, sir. He's from here, he lives overseas. I think he's in Philadelphia. He has his own training there, and he was actually here, and he would have liked to participate in the competition. So we do apologize. Lennox, I think his name is Lennox. So we do apologize for that, Lennox. And so we're looking at doing things with table tennis here in the Federation. Now, we go back to some cricket. And we have the ICC Champions Trophy. That is coming up. And we have the ICC Champions Trophy. We don't have West Indies showing up as far as I'm seeing. Let us get to that. The ICC's champions. That's the test. Well, we have to touch the test championship because a lot of test matches happening. So, but the ICC Champions Trophy, the 9th edition, will be hosted by Pakistan and the United Arab Emirates from the 19th of February to the 9th of March. And it will be contested by the top 8 ranked men's nation teams qualified from 2023 Cricket World Cup. And of course, West Indies weren't a part of that. Pakistan, they are the defending champions, having won the previous edition in 2017. A little background on it, the ICC Champions Trophy is a quadrennial ODI cricket tournament, 50 overs, organized by ICC. Initially held as a biennial tournament since its inaugural edition in 1998 as ICC Knockout Trophy. It was rebranded as the ICC Champions Trophy in 2002 and has been held as a quadrennial tournament every 4 years since 2009. In 2016, the ICC cancelled the future editions of the Champions Trophy after the 2017 tournament, aiming to have only one major tournament in each format of international cricket. However, in November 2021, as part of the 2024 to 2031 ICC men's host cycle, ICC announced that the tournament would return from 2025 onwards, which is this year. Pakistan was announced as the host for the championship, and we had some issues there. It will be the first global tournament to be hosted by Pakistan after 28 years. Since 2009 attack on the Sri Lankan team, 28 years. I remember that. That was like just the other day. 28. And I remind you that you're listening to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9 with yours truly, Troy Bif Mills. You can give us a call, 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. Or you can send me a WhatsApp, 765-1100. Please note my flow number is out, so I'm using the Digi. So you can send me a question, comment, call in, make your point, which the Zaran earlier best wishes. But I remember when they bombed the bus, the Sri Lankan bus in Pakistan. I didn't realize it was in 2009. In 28 years ago. Wow, time flies. 2009. The last major tournament to take place in that country was the 1996 Cricket World Cup, which it co-hosted with India and Sri Lanka. Now, India and Pakistan have been having some political issues for decades. And India decided they're not going to play Pakistan, in Pakistan. They're not going to Pakistan. So that is where the United Arab Emirates came about. I think that match would be played in the United Arab Emirates. And you have 8 teams qualified into 2 groups of 4. They will play against the 3 teams in their respective groups, round robin, a total of 12 matches. And the top 2 teams in each group will advance to the knockout stage. Knockout stage will consist of 2 semifinals and a finals. A total of 15 matches will be played over 19 days. They did a neutral venue, Dubai International Cricket Stadium. That's a neutral venue. So who do we have? Group A, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, New Zealand. Group B, Afghanistan, Australia, England, and South Africa. On the 19th of February, Pakistan will play New Zealand in Karachi. On the 20th of February, India will play Bangladesh at the Dubai International Stadium. On the 21st, Pakistan will play India in Dubai. On the 24th, Bangladesh will play New Zealand in Rawalpindi in Pakistan. Pakistan will engage Bangladesh in Rawalpindi again the 27th. India and New Zealand in Dubai. Those are the Group A matches. Group B, Afghanistan, South Africa in the National Stadium, Karachi. Australia, England, Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore. Australia, South Africa, Rawalpindi. Afghanistan, England, Gaddafi Stadium. Afghanistan, Australia, Gaddafi. And England, South Africa, the National Stadium in Karachi. And then we're going to have the semifinals, etc. One semifinal in the Dubai International Cricket Stadium, another in Gaddafi Cricket Stadium, and Lahore or Dubai. If India makes the finals will be played in Dubai. If India do not make the finals, then the final will be played in Lahore. So those are the fixtures for the ICC trophy. Those are the teams. Again, Zone A, Bangladesh, India, New Zealand, Pakistan, no West Indies. Group B, Afghanistan, Australia, England, South Africa, no West Indies. Bangladesh and Afghanistan. Over the years, these 2 teams have been creeping up, And they may not do well. They may not perform well in the test matches. But when it comes to the white ball cricket, 50 overs and T20, these 2 teams have some of the top all-rounders in the world. We got to keep an eye on them. I think they're going to creep up and they're going to... Remember, it was Afghanistan made the semi-finals. Knockout, sent home the big back, mighty Australia. Australia didn't make semi-final in the World Cup last year here in the West Indies. So we got to watch Bangladesh and Afghanistan. We got to keep eyes on them. Now we touched the ICC Females World Cup U19. We touched the trophy. Now let us look at West Indies senior men's team, they are touring Pakistan. They are currently in Pakistan on December the 23rd. West Indies announced the squad for the tour of Pakistan, featuring 2 test matches, which starts from the 17th to the 29th. The series, which marks the final installment of the 2-year World Test Championship cycle, and West Indies ain't nothing really. We'll see the West Indies playing a test series in Pakistan for the first time in 18 years. 18 years. Remember, it's the first time they're having cricket in 28 years, but West Indies playing there first time in 18 years. A standout performer in recent months, the fan-did batter Amir Jangu, who made a stunning match-winning ODI century on debut against Bangladesh, has earned his test call-up, belatedly I believe. Also returning to the squad is Gudakesh Moti, who was unavailable for the recent drawn series against Bangladesh. I'm into cricket chats. National cricket chats with persons, nationals at home and abroad, as well as other Caribbean people living in other Caribbean islands outside the Caribbean. I've been hinting slightly, the Silver got to watch yourself. The vice captain, the wicketkeeper. I'm not certain that he has been having a very good run. Amir Jangu, on the other hand, in the 4th tournament, he was the only person to score a double century last year. And he was about 5th in the aggregates. In the recently concluded ODI tournament we had here in the West Indies, I think he was 2nd in the aggregates. This guy had a tremendous 2024 season, so I'm not surprised that he finds himself in the West Indies team at all. I'm not at all surprised. Why name the Silver? Go watch yourself, because he's a keeper. He's a Trinidad and Tobago's keeper, Amir Jangu. But he bats, and this guy could bat. He got a call-up for the One Day International. He made a century. And I believe he should have played the T20 series. He not only made a century, he not only made his debut, he not only made a debut and century, but his batting was the reason that West Indies won the last game in the ODI to win the series. Because we were in bales and bales of trouble. But Jangu bailed us out. And I think he should have played in the T20. Because he has been in form all year. But he has made a test, the test squad. I hope he gets a game. And the Silver could be in problems. Tevin Imlak, the incumbent backup keeper. I don't know. He hasn't been having tremendous performances to shout about. He had some runs in the 4th tournament we had, and again in the 50 overs. But he's the backup to the Silver. He went to Australia last year, January, and South Africa and Bangladesh. He has been the backup. So, but they need to perform and he needs to perform and put more pressure on the Silver by making more runs and being consistent. The Silver has taken some tremendous catches, but he's flew quite a few. And I asked, in the 2 chats, just some questions. I was in a discussion, and somebody said he dropped a lot of catches. I didn't see the games. So I went to do some research, and I asked, hey, did he drop catches? How many? And people believe I was coming with ulterior motives. I was just doing some research, which I told them. And again, I've heard that his glove work isn't as high as it should be. But anyway, the squad, the West Indies test squad, Craig Brathwaite captain. The squad departed on January the 2nd and arrived yesterday. They arrived in Islamabad yesterday. Craig Brathwaite captain. Craig has been going through a very lean patch, a very lean, mean patch. And some persons have been in some discussions, and persons are saying and thinking that it's time for him to be relieved of the captaincy As a matter of fact, he should be dropped. Some persons are saying that. Maybe with some justification because of the performances. I don't know, but some may argue if you drop him, then who? I believe all kind of things could happen. And I came across some stats for the West Indies in terms, which I'm looking for, in terms of the scores for 2024. Who made the most runs for West Indies? I'm looking, I'm not seeing it close at hand. But Craig was actually up there. Craig was, he was maybe 5th. And our own Kyle was like 6th. If I'm remembering, I think it was Athenaeus. I think Athenaeus had scored the most runs for West Indies in 2024. And was it Hodge? Kavim Hodge might have been 2nd. I'm looking, but I can't find that. But I have that at some point. But Craig was about 5 or 6, and I don't think Louis was just below him. So he has broken a record last time against Bangladesh. He has played the most consecutive test matches for the West Indies. He's 86. He broke Gary Sobers' record of 85. And he said consecutive, and he said he wants to play 100 tests for West Indies. With his current form, I ain't so sure about that at all. I'm not so sure about that at all. But anyway, let's go back to the West Indies squad to Pakistan. Craig Brathwaite, captain. Joshua De Silva, vice captain. Alec Athenaeus, Casey Carty, Justin Graves. My good friend from Antigua, Samuel Spencer. Happy New Year, Sam. How are you doing? For a few months, he has been calling for the inclusion of Justin Graves in the West Indies team. And he was given the opportunity. And he has been having some very good performances. 3 centuries in his first 3 matches, I think. So I think he's here to stay. We have Kavim Hodge, Tevim Imlak, Amir Django, Mikael Louis, Gudakesh Moti, Anderson Phillip, Kemar Roach, Kevin Sinclair, Jaden Seals, Jamel Warrigan. No Alzari Joseph. Alzari Joseph has been going through a tough period, disciplinary and otherwise. So, when he was suspended, when he was given the 2-match suspended again, so was it South Africa or Bangladesh? A lot of discussions were taking place how he should be treated. At the end of the day, it was felt that though the suspension was merited because of his performance on the field, especially to the captain, that in and of itself wasn't sufficient. Counseling, attending anger management training, because he seems to have a serious anger management issue. Because I think he was suspended a 2nd time as well. So he has to, we have to help him. The West Indies board, we have to help him. He is the fastest West Indian to 50 wickets, fastest in ODI, fastest West Indian bowler to 100 wickets in ODI. And for the last 3 years, he has been identified as the strike bowler, the number 1 strike bowler for West Indies. So we have to support him. The West Indies Cricket Board, Cricket West Indies has to support him. Team management, head coach Andrew Coley, Manager Roy Lewis, assistant coach for bowling James Franklin, assistant coach fielding Ryan Griffith, assistant coach batting James Adams, physiotherapist Dennis Bayam, strength and conditioning coach Ronald Rogers, massage therapist Dark Brown, analyst Avinesh Sitram, media and content officer Jerome Fonster. I like the idea that a media and content officer is there with them, and this is something that all national teams, I believe, should be doing, even at the St. Kitts and Nevis level, be it football, table tennis, basketball, netball, volleyball, cricket, track and field. I believe when we attend, anytime our national teams attend games, even if the football team were to go off to play a friendly match somewhere, I believe a media, well, here they're saying media and content officer, whatever that means, but somebody should be going to be taking pictures, interviewing people, sending back reports to St. Kitts and Nevis. So we here could feel like we are there. I remember in the last CARIFESTA 2019, as Director of Culture, I had the privilege and the honor and distinction of leading the delegation to that was CARIFESTA 14 in Trinidad and Tobago in 2019. Well, let me back up. The CARIFESTA before that, 2017, which I also had the privilege to lead, that was in Barbados, CARIFESTA 13. That's the biggest contingent St. Kitts and Nevis ever carried to a contingent. And that was 58 persons, I think it was, in 2017 in Barbados. In 2019, when we went to Trinidad for CARIFESTA 14, that's the largest we carried. It was now 70-something. And we actually had 2 teams of journalists in there with us. For those who have never been at a CARIFESTA, you have 5 or 6 different events happening, starting 10 o'clock in the morning. You're going to be having dancing dancing over there, drama over there, music someplace else, photography someplace else, and literary arts happening someplace else. And so that's 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6 events. And most countries try to participate in as much as possible. So our intention was actually to carry the media with us. So while a media team is over there dealing with the, literary arts, Heather Archibald, she went with us and she's reading her poems and things like that. And then over there we have dancing, and somewhere down there we have visual arts, etc., etc. But the media persons are covering that. And we got reports while we were in Trinidad that the St. Kitts and Nevis public, they were extremely elated and proud because our media teams were sending back information live here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So much so that the immediate past and late Governor General, Sir Tapley Seaton, he actually wrote us a letter commending us highly for the work we did and the way we represented the country. And he said he felt like he was in Trinidad at CARIFESTA because of the reporting we were doing. I say all of that to say that is how important media coverage is for national teams. So I'm appealing to all the national teams, whether we're going to Olympics, whether we're going to football qualifiers, basketball championship, netball, table tennis. I'm appealing to us as national associations to have a media officer, public relations, whatever name you want to call, media and content officer for cricket, be a part of it. I attended a sports journalist workshop in Santo Domingo in October or November. And there was a gentleman there. Can't remember his name. He's from Jamaica. He said he has been traveling with the Jamaican reggae boys since in the 1970s. He has been going with them as the media officer. Whether they're going to play friendly matches, whether they're going to play at one competitive match or two or a tournament, he has been traveling with them as the media officer from in the 70s. So we're talking like 50-something years, 50-something years. He doesn't look really like he over 40-something, but he looks fit. And that is the level we need to get here in St. Kitts and Nevis and other countries. We need to have media. We need to have sports journalists, whatever you want to call them, going to it and providing content for our media houses back here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So where are we now? What are we talking about? Yes, we spoke about table tennis. We spoke about the football that is happening. We spoke about the football and the elections. World Test Championship, and it's now 8:58. And ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, the Team Pedro wouldn't be able to make it tonight. I've been informed about that, so we do apologize for that. Those of you who are looking forward to hearing them and what their plans and why they believe that the teams should vote for them and why they believe the teams shouldn't vote for the incumbent. So they won't be here with us, but we have a few more minutes. We started late. I do apologize for that. And my producer is telling me he could work with me for another 5 minutes. So what we're going to do is quickly touch the Test Championship by poor India. India getting a lot of blows down in Australia. And a lot of cricket playing all over the world, you know. A lot of cricket playing all over the world and a lot of runs scoring. There was a game, Bangladesh and Zimbabwe, with like 1,200 runs scored, something to that effect. So if we look at the Australia-India, which is part of the test series, the first test in Perth, November 22nd to 25th, India won that by 295 runs. India 150 and 487 for 6 declared. Australia 104 and 238. I can't understand. The scores have been seesaw. High scores, low scores, average scores. The second test, India won by 6 wickets. That was a day-night match in Canterbury, November 30th. Started there. Forgive me. The second test was a day-night in Adelaide. Australia won by 10 wickets. I know something was wrong. India 180 and 175. Australia 337 and 19 without loss. The third test, rain save India. Rain save India. Australia 445 and 89 for 7 declared. India nearly won through them second innings. The target was 275. India made 260 first innings and they were 8 without loss second innings. And that's the third test, the match drawn. And there was a feeling that Australia would have won that. The fourth test, Australia went ahead 2-1, winning by 184 runs. 474 and 234. India, 369. They had a target of 340 to win. They only made 155. The fifth and final test, Australia won that by 6 wickets. India had a dismal performance, 185 and 157. Australia first innings wasn't really, it was dismal to 181 and 162 for 4. So India won that series 3-1. And I think Australia is heading off to Sri Lanka. But let us look at the championships, the test championships and the points and all of that, etc., etc., etc. With a few more matches to go, South Africa and Australia, they have already qualified. England out, it looks like, for the finals. South Africa, during the 2-year period, they've played 12 matches. They've won 8, lost 3, drawn 1. They have 100 points, but the percentage points, PCT, they are 69.4. That is what matters. Australia, they've played 17, won 11, lost 4, drawn 2. So they have 130 points, but their percentage point is 63.73. India, they've played the most matches, 19. They've won 9, lost 8, drawn 2. They have 114 points. So based on points, Australia and England, India should have been in the finals. But that is not how it works. India, they have a PCT of 50.00 points. So both South Africa and Australia, they have qualified. West Indies, we are 9th. 9 out of the 9 teams at the bottom of the table with a percentage of points of 24.24. Pakistan just ahead of us, 24.31. Bangladesh ahead of us, 31.25 in test. Could you imagine that? England in 6th, 43.18. Sri Lanka in 5th, 45.45. New Zealand is 4th. They're 4th with 48.21. And that is that. So the next cycle, I think this test champion, the final is going to be played down in June this year, I think it is. And then another 2 cycles starts. And then they'll be fixing it out. And then remember, they're thinking about the 2 divisions. And poor West Indies we won't make. If that is the case, we are going to be in the 2nd division. We won't be in the top tier. Even going from this percentage point, this percentage table thing, that we are 9th. So if they were to divide the 9 teams in 2, the top 5 teams, South Africa, Australia, India, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, poor England lose out too. England down in 6. So if they were to say 5 up top, and 4 down below, England, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and West Indies will be in the 2nd division. But if anything, they'll say 6 in the top because I don't believe they really want England down below. So we've touched Chess Championship, and the only thing that we've touched some cricket, we've touched table tennis, we've touched a bit of football. And before we finish, my team ain't doing that well at all. Things not going well with my team. Man United. In terms of the English Premier League, a lot of happening. I saw some stats that said when it comes to the Christmas game, the leaders and whether they went on, the leaders at Christmas, whether they went on to win the championship or not. And it was a mixed thing. Right now, Liverpool doing some damage, They played 19 matches at the head of the table. And this is the English Premier League, the Barclays Bank Premier League. They played 19 matches, 46 points. Arsenal in 2nd, 20 matches, 40 points. Nottingham Forest in 3rd, 20 matches, 40 points. Everybody else, somebody got to not. Everton, they played 19. Everybody else played 20. Chelsea 5th. 36 points, 10 points off the lead. Chelsea 4th, Newcastle 5th, 35. Man City getting a lot of blows, losing quite a few matches. Man City, 34 points. Bournemouth, 33 points. Aston Villa, 32. Fulham, 30. Brighton in 10th with 28 points. Brentford, 11, 27. Tottenham Hotspurs in 12th. With 24 points. That's way down, man. Man United, my team, 13th with 23 points. Since South Africa gone, since Alex Ferguson gone, Man U out the door. And in terms of relegation, Southampton, they only have 6 points. Leicester City, they have 14. Ipswich in 18th position, they have 16. Just above them, Wolves and goal difference, they have 16. Everton, not too far off the relegation pace, they have 17 points. So that's the English Premier League. I'm a Man U man, Man U to the world. And Man U ain't going to even play UEFA League this year. But funny things happen. They have 18 more matches to go, I think it is. 20 teams playing 2 rounds, 38 matches, so they have 18 more matches to go. We are going to see how it works out. In terms of goals, Mohamed Salah 18, Liverpool, Erling Haaland 16, Man City, Alexander Isaac 13 from Newcastle. So I wish my team Man U all the best, but they got to start playing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for our show this year. I do apologize for the no-show of Team Jeffrey Hazel. Some members were to be called to be here with us, but I got notice to indicate that they would not have been able to make it again, and I do apologize for that. But elections, the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association elections coming up on Sunday. Again, for those persons who would have missed it, there are 2 slates of candidates. Mr. Jeffrey Hazel and his slate, they're challenging the incumbent. And I'll call the incumbent first. President Atiba Harris. He's been challenged by Jeffrey Hazel. First Vice President Sean White. He's been challenged by Don Grant. Second Vice President Cuthbert Keynes. He is being challenged by Aisha Duggins out of Nevis. It's 2 things. It's the first time a Nevision is challenging for these positions, and it's also the first time a female has been challenging for any of the president's vice president. So that is history for Team Jeffrey Hazel. The 4 ordinary members, which has been reduced from 10, commencing this Congress. 4 ordinary members, the incumbent Javine Blanchett, Sheila Patricia Claxton, Phil Cooper, Aline Morris, and the incumbent for Jeffrey Hazel, Troy Hendrickson, Almond Cook, Ronald Williams, and Juliana Sargent. It takes place on Sunday, 12, 2025 at the National Bank Group of Companies Technical Center at St. Peter's at 3 p.m. We wish both parties well. May the better team win, and we'll have to wait and see how that is going to be working out. We thank you for staying with us for another edition of On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. I am Troy Bif Mills, your host, and it was indeed a pleasure for me to be here with you. We do apologize again for our guests not making it, and we're encouraging you to join us next week, same time, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for another edition of On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. We welcome your feedback. We welcome your thoughts on the show. Any areas of improvement you think might be possible, you can send me a WhatsApp, 765-1100. That's my number. My floor number, 668-2055, is out of commission. I may very well be out for another week and a half. I'm out of the screen that'll be coming. So please contact me via WhatsApp or telephone, 765-1100, for the next week and a half or thereabout. Table tennis, just a reminder, we're coming to Nevis again on Saturday the 18th. Saturday the 18th, we're having a table tennis camp at the Cotton Ground Community Center starting at 10 a.m., and we're open to children and adults. Please show up, and the following Saturday the 25th, we are having it at the St. Paul's Community Center. We're going to be sending out the link shortly for you to register online, or you can register on the day. Yeah. 2025 has started. We've had some accidents. Please be cautious on the road. Please be extremely vigilant. Please drive defensively. Look for the other driver. Look for the pedestrians. The life you save might be your own. Please be careful when it comes to driving. We thank you again for being with us. We invite you to join us next week, and we're again appealing for sponsorship for the program. If you're interested in becoming a partner sponsor coming on board, please call our marketing department 466-9586, or you can give me a call 765-1100 or send me a WhatsApp. Thank you once more. Have a good night. We look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday, the 14th. And as I slip away, I encourage you to always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Have a good night. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On The Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.